Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I will be talking to you about Otome games that are available on the Nintendo Switch. So what I'll be doing is going through a brief description of each one, kind of like the blurb you would see at the back of the game, as well as who I would and would not recommend the game to. And yeah, I think it'll be fun because it might give you an idea of what there is out there. But anyway, let me start. So the first one that comes to mind is definitely Code Realize. Now this game is basically about the main character, Cardia, who is poisonous, and yeah, as a result of that, she's very lonely because people are scared of her, don't want to touch her, because what happens is when she touches things, they kind of melt, almost like she's acidic, so she can only wear like special clothes and like only touch special things, and it's quite problematic actually. But as a result, of course, she's incredibly lonely, and as a result, I guess sort of the way the story starts is that she encounters Lupin, who wants to basically get her for, I can't remember why, for some reason or another. So he invites her to his kind of like mansion, where she then meets, you know, friends as well. And it's a story about her discovering why she is the way she is, as well as exploring each of the characters and their backstories as well. So it's a really like nice game in the sense that you kind of explore it's quite plot heavy, I would say, where, you know, because you are exploring why she's got this poisonous thing going on. I wouldn't say there's that much sort of passion in it. Obviously you don't get kiss CGs or like anything like that because she's poisonous, like she can't touch anyone, but it is very romantic in the sense that they go through so many troubles together and as a result create this bond that is quite special. So I would recommend it to those who haven't played an Otome game before, so like beginners, because, you know, the bad endings weren't that bad and you can avoid them. So I felt like the bad endings were kind of like, oh no, that sucks, but she's moving on with her life, and, you know, it's a bit more upbeat and didn't really leave that much of an impression. And as for the good endings, of course, they're really happy every single time. So I think it's a great game for beginners to get into. However, I would not recommend it to those who, you know, really want passion in like Steam in their games and really want something upbeat, because although there are cute scenes in terms of like all the characters hanging out together and having a laugh, I would definitely not say it's a game that you laugh a lot at and, you know, all of that. And as I said, because she's poisonous, you don't really see much like kissing or CGs that are of the romantic sort. And Code Realize comes with 2 fan discs. Fan discs are things that are sort of like not quite a sequel, but a spin-off game that has like bonus stories and stuff. So the first Code Realize main game is called Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. And then once you've played that, there are 2 fan discs. One is Future Blessings and the other is Wintertide Miracles. So if you really enjoy the main game, you've got like 2 more kind of bonus story game type things that you can enjoy afterwards, which is obviously great. Now, next up is Malice. This game is, I don't think I've quite come across a game yet where it has made me want to like read more, if that makes sense. So it's very plot heavy. You do get a little bit of, like, I've seen a couple of, I think there's a couple of kiss CGs, so in that sense it's nice and romantic too. But it's such a page turner because what happens is it's basically about this main character who's in the police force. She once gets kidnapped, however, and a collar is placed on her where she can die immediately. Basically, it's placed on her by this terrorist group, Adonis, who have been terrorizing the city of Shinjuku, where this is all based in. Basically, they're like, we are watching you and, you know, we can kill you any moment, and she's not allowed to tell anyone about this collar and all of this. And so, yeah, it's very suspenseful, very serious, and you do have some bad endings where you're like, oh, okay, well, that happened. You know, there'll be options like, oh, do you take the shortcut, which is through this alleyway, or do you take this long-winded way that is a lot more safer? And depending on what you choose, you know, it can end badly or well. You know, you've got to think about these things quite a bit. And what's great about this game is that each love interest explores different Adonis members. So you see terrorist group from different perspectives as you get to know the Adonis terrorist group member. And what's good about that is because you see the group from different perspectives and learn a little bit more about each, like about the terrorist group, it's kind of almost like each ally is a puzzle piece. And you play each ally and you put the puzzle pieces together, and then you finally discover everything gets revealed and everything clicks together, and it's just amazing. I honestly could not stop playing it. I was addicted. I was like, I need to know what happens next. And I think I finished it like way too quickly. I was addicted. So honestly, I highly recommend this one. I think even beginners can enjoy it just purely because the story's so great. It's so good that you may feel a tiny bit disappointed when you play other Otome games afterwards. But I would recommend it mainly to those who like suspense, like crime, like action-packed stories. And the art is quite pretty as well. However, I would not recommend it to those who want like fluffy, sort of more character games, because it is very much plot sort of heavy and with a bit of romance. A bit more than co-realized, but still not as much as you would get in some other games. And also Column Malice has a fan disc as well. It's called Column Malice Unlimited. I think it's a bit more kind of sequel-like, and but again, it's good because it means that if you like Column Malice, you've still got like one extra game to play afterwards, so it's not like you have to feel really sad. There's like one extra thing. So next up is Piofiore Fated Memories. Now this game is a mafia game. It's basically about a main character who was living her life, you know, innocently, sort of ordinarily in this church, when one day, for various reasons, she gets caught up in a mafia war between these three factions. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's action-packed, people die, she can die depending on the ending. There's a lot of death, I suppose. It's very kind of gory and like that. There's blood splatter and stuff. But it is a mafia game, so you kind of would expect that. Now note that there is a lot of steam in this game, so you kind of see a lot of skin colours on love interest groups, like young. So if you want something a bit more passionate than Column Malice or Code Realize, then this is really good because, like, yeah, you see a lot in those CGs. Not talking about Yang at all. So yeah, it's great fun. However, I would not recommend it to those who are like really weak when it comes to gore. You don't really care that much about romance or passion in a game. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to those people. This is a very much a serious, has gore, like things like torture in it, and it has a lot of passion. So like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to people who don't like that. Also note that there is going to be a fan disc or sequel. I think it's more like a sequel coming out next year in summer. It's called Piofiore Episodio 1926. So yeah, again, if you enjoy Piofiore Fated Memories and you're like, oh no, I'm really sad, you don't have to feel too much like that, because, you know, the sequel will be coming out next year, which means that's something to look forward to. Now, next up is Cafe Enchante. Oh boy, this game. So the synopsis is really simple, to be honest. It's basically the main character, Kotone, inherits a cafe from her grandfather. And you know, you think it's going to be like a happy, upbeat game, like Nekkopara Catboy Paradise or something, where it's like, oh, this is cute, she hangs out with these love interests. Oh no. Unfortunately, if that's what you're looking for, then this is not the game for you, because basically you find out that the cafe is kind of a gateway into these different supernatural worlds from which the love interests kind of visit the cafe from. And yeah, each character has a really deep backstory, and the game is basically Kotone and that love interest going through that, you know, love interest's backstory and experience, like journey through, you know, the time of her visiting their world and seeing what's going on. So it's very much a character game. I would say it's not so much plot, as in there's not like one generic plot. It's more you pick a character and you go through their story. So each playthrough is completely different. Like they end up in different worlds because they're from different places, and And let's just say it's really emotional. Like, it's not that the bad endings are horrific or anything like that. It's not like that. It's just that the whole story, for most of them, are really like sad and emotional. It's like a roller coaster. And yeah, I think a lot of people have cried as a result of this game. And people on my Discord have all been like, oh, it was really sad when this happened and when that happened. So, you know, it's definitely a game for someone who loves a good sob story, you know? Now, however, what I felt was a bit of a shame for this game is that you don't get to see the two, like the main character and love interest, after they have gotten together, because what typically happens is they go through, you know, difficulties together through the character's, you know, story, and then when they finally get together, that's when the game basically ends. So you don't really get to see them like cute together and stuff, so, you know, there isn't that much romance in it. There is just not enough that it may satisfy some people. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. So I would recommend it to those who love fantasy, who love, you know, supernatural characters and quirky characters, like, you know, one's a headless knight, which you would think is kind of hard to like, but whew, you would be surprised. He is adorable, and the fact that he doesn't have a head will not bother you. Or at least it didn't bother me, and it didn't bother quite a few people I spoke to, so yeah. However, I would not recommend it to those who are looking for something that's got more romance in it, or it wants something upbeat, because this one's an emotional roller coaster, and it's full of that. Now, the next one is Olympia Soiree. This game, oh boy, it's kind of messed up because it's based in this world where there's like a systematic, like classist society system where, you know, there's a hierarchy depending on what color you are. So the top is those of the color of white in a way. However, this is mainly because they're like the goddess of light sort of thing, hence why they are completely pale. And it's about the main character, who is one of the color of white, who is the only one left as a result of various circumstances, so needs to find a husband in order to make sure to continue the bloodline, because yeah, she's the only one that's able to make the sun come up, and if no one can do that, it's a problem. So it's kind of like her exploring and looking through the different love interests and choosing who she wants to be with. It's quite a strict color class system. Like, it goes the primary colors, the mix of two primary colors, and basically everything below is like not great type of thing. And it's all really horrible. But I suppose the premise of the game is that she's looking for a husband, but she also wants to get rid of the prejudices of, you know, different color classes and beat the system. And I think that's a very positive message. So, you know, I think it's okay. It's just it does touch upon some sensitive topics, like there is, you know, dubcon and non-con situations, and if you're really sensitive to that, then I may avoid this game, because there is one route that you really can't avoid it. It's not that anything necessarily happens, it's just it almost does, and I can see some people being really affected by it, which is a shame because it's a really good game, and you know, it's so beautiful and stuff. But if you are sensitive to that, then it may be a good idea to leave it, because yeah, it does touch upon quite a few sensitive topics, including dubcon and non-con. Now, I would recommend it, however, to those who love Steam. There is so much skin colour in this game. It's so crazy. It's so borderline R18. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So if you really love passionate love, like romance, skin colour on your CGs, this is definitely a game for you. If you like angst and like sort of touching upon serious topics, this is also a game for you. However, I would not recommend it, again, to those who like fluffy, happy content. I know there are so many English Otome games that just aren't happy, which is really sad, but hang on, there's gonna be more happy games, which I will touch upon in the future. So next up is Bustafellows. Bustafellows is released not by Otome, but a different company, P-Cube, I believe, or Extend, I can't remember. And this game is about a main character who is able to time travel, you know, back in time, but ends up sort of, there is a catch where she doesn't time travel back to herself. She ends up in like a different character's body. And yeah, it's very action packed. Every route you kind of go through like a problem that happens, and it's touches upon, you know, the underworld, so like things sort of drugs and terrorism and like, you know, all these different things. Like it touches upon that, and each character is relatively distinct. I would say it's quite a good way to get into Otome games if you're not really that bothered by romance. So if you just want a visual novel, this is really good, because, you know, there's all this fun stuff that happens, but, you know, you don't have to go through the romancy bit necessarily. Like, you can force skip it if you want. So I think that's quite good for people like that. Some people, and that includes me, was a little bit sad that there wasn't that much romance actually. But I have heard that there's going to be a sequel, so fingers crossed there's going to be some romance in it, because what happens in this game is it's a bit like Cafe Enchante. There's a long common route, there's a character route, and it's split into side A and side B. Side A is them kind of going through that character's problems, issues, and overcoming troublesome situations. And then side B is where they finally kind of get together and you see them being a little bit romantic, but it's really not that much. So yeah, it's kind of lacking in that sense, a little bit like Cafe Enchante, though I'd say Cafe Enchante has more romance in it than Bustafellows. So yeah, I would not recommend it to those who want a lot of romance, and I would also not recommend it to those who aren't really that bothered by crime and action. But I would recommend it to those who are looking for a game where there isn't that much romance and it's just kind of like a visual novel, because yeah, the story was quite fun. Now, the last of the depressing games is Steam Prison. Steam Prison is a game about this main character who lives in a world where there's like the upper class and the slums, and it's very contrasting. And I think it's about, like, I haven't played it myself, but I think it's about the main character exploring the lives of those who are in the slums or, you know, are not, and kind of seeing the, you know, unfairness in the world. And I have heard it's quite angsty. Now, I have also heard it's a bit of a Marmite, so some people love it, some people hate it, and I kind of want to play it just to see why there's such a, you know, like kind of contrast or divide in opinions. Luckily for you, there is a demo that allows you to play one whole route, so perhaps you can do that and then decide for yourself whether you enjoy the game or not, because it rarely goes on sale. It's like £50 and like it's rarely on sale, so, you know, I totally understand why some people are hesitant in playing it. I've got the PS Vita version, so I probably will play it sometime in the future and then make a review video on it, but from what I have heard, it's very much like a Marmite. Now, finally, moving on to the one happy game that is currently released, and that is Cupid Parasite. Now, Cupid Parasite is about, well, Cupid, who, you know, is feeling a little bit sad about declining marriage rates, and, you know, she's trying her beloved best, bless her, trying to sort of make humans fall in love and get married. However, she's really struggling when one day she discovers that humans have made their own matchmaking system, and there is a matchmaking company out there, and she feels like that is a better way to get people married than her using her bow and arrow, because with her bow and arrow, despite two people having like a good level of potential romance between them, even when she uses a bow and arrow on them, they keep on breaking up. However, matchmaking, I suppose there's more thought put into it. So what she does is she, much against her father's will, decides to go down to the human world and try and matchmake the human way. Now, one day she is called by her boss and discovers that in order to get a promotion, she needs to matchmake these 5 problematic guys called the Parasite 5. They all have their issues, making them incredibly difficult to matchmake, and it's kind of her exploring these characters and trying to matchmake them and ending up falling for one of them, I guess. It's all very funny. In my opinion, there is no real bad ends. The bad ends will make you laugh and are happy in a way. So, you know, it's one of those games you can really relax and play without thinking too hard about, you know, what might happen and how scary it is. So it's great for those who are looking for something fluffy, happy. the romance is really good. Like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily Olympia Soiree level passion and steam, but personally I felt there was more like passion in the sense that it was sort of constant throughout in terms of how they say things, the innuendos that appear, and when they finally get together, it's very sweet and the characters are sweet. So I think to me it felt more romancy than many other games, and it was just nice to play a game that's really relaxing. However, I would not recommend it to those who like angst, emotional turmoil, and going through a bit of a roller coaster, because there isn't really anything too sad. There's a couple routes where you might tear up a little bit because it's kind of like, oh, that's really sweet, or oh, that's really sad, but it always ends up happy. And yeah, it's just a happy game. Now, unfortunately, that's the only happy game I can think of that's out, that's, you know, from a major company. However, there are 2 more that are coming out soon. One is Barricade, which is going to be coming out next year in, I think, planned to be February, and it's basically about these 4 damenzu, or trash men. I have made a review on it, but basically the main character comes from a rich family, and her grandfather's like, you need to marry, but she keeps on declining all the proposals. And so one day he basically accumulates 4 trash men into a mansion and goes, right, you have to live with them and choose one to be your husband. And it's quite amusing because they all try so hard to woo her. And this is another game I would recommend to those who really like romance and want something fluffy, because it's a happy game, and it made me laugh a lot too. And another one that's relatively happy, coming out maybe next year or the year after, they haven't released, it's like a TBA game, is LoverPretemd, which is about a girl who wants to be a script writer, and it's about her like trying to make that dream come true while pretending to be lovers for various reasons with 4 allies. And it's amusing because, you know, they get put in this situation where they really need to try hard to pretend they're lovers, and it is quite amusing. Now, I won't go into sort of details on all the planned releases because I feel like I want to keep this video as me recommending or not recommending games that are available on Switch. So I'm going to leave it there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!